Speaking with representatives from both Orem Sports and Justin Giagrande's NIL agency today, I've learned that Beau Pribula and WR Hawkins are both very interested in West Virginia. But is West Virginia interested back?
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia. Appreciate y'all so much for being here as we dive into another episode of Mountaineer Sports, and couldn't do it without you guys. Excuse me, as always, and I thank you so much for all of your support. This episode is going to be brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. If you want to be in the action this season, go ahead and visit FanDuel.com, and where you can place your live NFL bets all season long. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Let's dive straight into this. Obviously, here's the roadmap for this episode. We're going to be talking about Beau Pribula at length a little bit on this one. Is he an answer? Could he be a guy that could come in, veteran guy, 1 year left, to come in and battle with Scotty Fox, perhaps win the job? He's more mobile. He's a Garrett Green clone in a lot of ways. He really is. Very similar speed, very similar, size, even though he's a couple inches taller. But they're similar build, similar arm talent. So is he a guy that could come in and we could actually see maybe what that would have looked like with Garrett last year with a much better O-line? Or does Scotty Fox win out? We'll see. Obviously, we've got other transfer portal targets. I've contacted a few of these guys as well. These are just guys that I have been given grace. I'm grateful that I've been given through breadcrumbs from just different sources that I've been told to reach out to and talk to. So I've done that. I have no idea if West Virginia's offered some of these guys. Some of these guys are going to be guys I feel like would be big additions to West Virginia, and some of these are big-time players. So, it's not like I'm pretty sure there would be mutual interest, but we'll go over it. We're going to talk about what their NIL costs are. How much would they be asking for per some of the websites out there, On3 and a couple others? What would they grade it out of high school? What are their heights? What's their weight? What are their strengths? What do they do well? We're going to go over all that as well. And just kind of have a good time, man. This is all what it's about. We're just, I'm trying to do 2 videos a day, even during the off season. It's difficult, right? I'm trying to make these episodes as decent as possible for you guys. So just give me some grace, man. I'm doing my best as we have just no news coming out, right? So we're not playing basketball for an entire week, and football season's over, and I'm only allowed to talk about West Virginia. So put yourself in my shoes and try to understand if you can. But I'm going out of my way to create content for myself, like I did today. I went and spoke with Orem Sports today, who is the agent for Beau Pribula. Also went out of my way to speak to Justin Giangrande, who has a sports agency and represents Tank Hawkins today as well. They're on the thumbnail for a reason. So let's start with Beau Pribula, the quarterback from Missouri, obviously, and Penn State. Had a decent year, obviously. This past year with Missouri, started out on fire. He really did. I mean, he had a couple really good games with Missouri. And, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, man, they played a really tough schedule towards the end of the year. But, 2,000 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 picks is not blowing anybody's doors off. I get that. But I'm asking you to just hear me out on this. So as a rusher, it was pretty decent. He had, let me get back to the game logs. So, he had went away. Let's see. As a rusher, okay, there it is. So in 2025, as a rusher, he had 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's not bad. That's what you would expect your second leading rusher or maybe your third leading rusher to have. And that wasn't necessarily a running quote unquote offense for him. And you look at some of the performances he had, started out the year blistering hot, like a Heisman level hot. He was 23 of 28 in his first game for 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and ran for 65 yards and 2 more touchdowns. So he started out the year with a 4 touchdown performance. Then he went to Kansas in week 2 and went 30 for 39, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did get sacked 4 times. But I mean, what a blistering hot start, right? So you start the year with 7 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers, and close to 800 yards of offense in the first 2 games. I mean, that's as good as you can draw it up. And we saw Kansas had some decent players last year, and I watched that game because I was pulling for the Big 12. And good God, man, was he good in that game? So I saw what he could be when he's at his best. I saw it. As a thrower, he didn't even have to run it in that game. And then he played Louisiana, 15 to 22, 174. It was a blowout, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Nothing major there. Then against South Carolina in another win where they just started out hot again, 16 to 27, 60% completion percentage, 171, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but he had 72 yards on 9 carries and no touchdowns. So I really, thought he did have played well in that game as well when you consider everything. I mean, that's an SEC team in South Carolina. And if you consider the rushing yards too, he had close to 300 yards, a touchdown and a pick in a game versus South Carolina. Then UMass, he was 26 of 29 in that game, an 89% completion percentage against UMass. I get that. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. No rushing yards. Actually, negative 27 yards rushing somehow. I don't know how you get negative 27, but something must have crazy, probably a fumble or went over the head, probably a shotgun snap over the head or something. Then he kind of fell off towards the end of the year. The back half of their schedule was loaded up, man. He hadn't thrown, he'd thrown an interception in 3 straight games at this point, but it was just they were inconsequential because they were blowouts. When you get to Alabama, they lost this game by 3 points. This was his first big game in his career, really. I mean, South Carolina was a big one. Don't get me wrong. Kansas was pretty big. This is a top 10 opponent in Alabama, and they barely lost the game. It was 27 to 24. He didn't play horrible in this game at all. Actually, he played really well. Against Alabama, he was 16 to 28, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 11 rushes for 61 yards and another touchdown. So the 2 picks hurt, right? But, I mean, overall, he acquitted himself decent. They were fighting in that game. They won a game against Auburn, 23 of 40 in that game. You're asking Beau Pribula to throw the ball 40 times. I'm sorry, man. You can't ask him to throw it 40 times. So, anyways, a lot of those interceptions came towards the end of the year. He had 2-2-2 versus Oklahoma, Auburn, and Alabama. All pretty good defenses. So here's my thoughts on it. Like I was telling somebody else earlier, this is a guy that you're not. I mean, he's a running quarterback at Penn State. He was like the kind of a gadget guy they would use to come out and do different stuff, but really dangerous with his legs, obviously. And what they were doing at Missouri was, I mean, it's the kind of offense that you would run for Will Grier. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, mobility helps in that offense, and they do have some run game in their offense, but for the most part, man, it's you're slinging it around. And I don't feel like he was I don't know why they thought he would be a good fit for that. But he started out pretty good. 30 of 39 versus Kansas is elite. I mean, come on, man. That's crazy. So he had big performances, and I just think the wrong offense for him. And I think a Richrod offense fits him so much better. Am I saying that Scotty might even beat him out? I'm not saying he wouldn't. But I think as a runner, he fits what Richrod wants to do so much better than Scotty. And that's where this offense at the end of the day is going to be the most dangerous. It's going to be the most dangerous when we can run it with the quarterback. Scotty is an average runner. This is my biggest problem with him. He's average, and you can get it done that way, but this offense will never reach its peak unless we get an elite running quarterback. That's just my personal belief, that this offense is meant and built around being less talented than the guy across from you. So how can we use all 11 players and have an electric quarterback that erases mistakes? Until you get that, I don't know. I don't think we're going to be Big 12 contenders unless we get a Josh Hoover who can just dice people up with his arm like crazy. And maybe they go that route. I don't know. Like, I have no clue. I doubt they're going to do that. I think they're going to run it, right? If you're looking at NIL, what's this guy going to cost? It's interesting. He's 6'2", 212. So he is 2-3 inches. He's about 3 inches bigger than Garrett Green, who was 5'11", maybe even 5'10". But he is a fast dude. He was a 4-star quarterback coming out of high school. Estimated portal costs for him, because he's coming off of a year where he didn't live up to his expectations necessarily. The first half of the schedule he did. The second half of the schedule he didn't. He's probably still going to command $1 to $1.5 million, though. He just is. According to On3, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll get $800K. I don't know. Depends on the market. Yeah, I just feel like the market's just exploded for quarterbacks, And this is probably one of the more likely guys West Virginia is going to look at. I think this is somebody West Virginia can both afford and use this battle with Scotty, right? Let the best man win. And we would go into that truly not knowing who would win it. Maybe it would be Scotty with an extra year. Maybe Beau would win with his legs, but you would feel good about either or in that scenario. Let's go to break. I talked to the representatives for the Tank as well today. Also got a message from Tank himself. We will talk about that right after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Wayfair. With Wayfair, guys, I got to tell you, it's a pretty simple thing. When you get down to it, Wayfair does things big in the holiday season. And things are all going to show up faster than we expect. That means the holidays are here quickly. And if you're still putting together gifts, last-minute decor, getting your home ready for guests, Wayfair has you covered. Whether you need a quick room refresh, new bedding, or one of those final seasonal touches, Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need fast. Wayfair truly is your one-stop shop for everything home, with decor, furniture, kitchen essentials, and gifts for every style and budget, all delivered quickly and easily. The selection is huge. Bedding, decor, kitchen gear, kids' rooms updates. I was actually able to find everything in one place for there. The Wayfair items you order will instantly refresh your space without a big project needing to be done. It's perfect for gifting, too. They have guides, tons of options, and something for everyone on any budget. No massive delivery fees, and no stress. Get last-minute hosting essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com with Wayfair. Every style, every home. And where would we be without our friends at FanDuel? Of course, FanDuel is where it's at right now. NFL Sundays move fast, as after all, one big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. And with FanDuel, you can place live bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, defense tightens up, or a momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump right into that live moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as the guys heat up. And if you want to bet your next touchdown score, you want to bet your next drive result, you want to bet the total of the game or more, you can. And it keeps you locked into every snap, drive, and possibility. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long with FanDuel. The game moves fast, and so can you. Hey, it's segment 2. We're going to crack open this dude and talk a little bit of Tank Hawkins. Guys, I was excited today when this message came through. And I'll be honest, this is a kid that I wanted whenever he came out of Wheeling Park. I really did. This is a guy, man, that is an elite athlete, right? 10-3 100-meter yard dash. 10-3 100-meter yard dash. Like this kid can fly. And no, he didn't have the career we wanted him to have at Florida. No, it's not, I'm sure, what he wanted for himself either. But I still think he would be a sneaky. Richrod would use him so well. He's just like what those undersized elite athletes we've had in the past, like Noel Devine, obviously like a Tavon Austin, even though that wasn't a Richrod era man. Obviously Jock Sanders and Darius Raynaud come to mind. He's always had these undersized type players. Dre Hawkins, you want to know something crazy? Here's how I envision him. If you go look at at Florida, how they were using him, man, it really reminded me of trying to think the kid that played for Pitt this year at running back. Gosh, what was his name? Reed? Is it Reed? Starting Pitt Panthers running back. I'm just having trouble remembering his name right now. Was it Reed? I think it was Reed, wasn't it? Desmond Reed. Yeah, that's it. So, that's who Tank reminds me of. He's like a Desmond Reed. You could play Tank at running back and it would work. I really do think. Man, he is so talented. And he had some big plays for Florida. And they were running him out of the backfield a little bit here and there. And unfortunately, like I said, things didn't work out. I don't know what happened in his second year. I meant to research it, and I totally forgot what happened in his second year. As far as there was only 2 receptions as his limit in his second year, and I know that wasn't because of playing time. He was supposed to be a starter coming into the year because I kept track of it because I was expecting him to transfer after his freshman year potentially. So this past year he didn't either. He's 5'9", 165. A 10-3 100-meter yard dash it's Olympic. You're getting into that Olympic category, although it's not a qualifier time, but it's close. He's a dynamic, man, slot receiver with speed and elusiveness, and he was a 4-star across the board coming out of high school. This is a kid you could get in for $150K, probably $200K, according to On3. And obviously he is from Virginia. He played at Wheeling Park, so he's used to the state of West Virginia. It seems like he wanted to get out of the state of West Virginia. He went to IMG Academy. He went to Florida, so he definitely wanted something different for his life. But, man, Richrod's offense would be perfect for a player like him, and I would be super exciting, man. I would be excited if he came in. He's a cheap option that you could play him right away. I think he would come in and play a lot. And, he would have a ton of ability on kickoff return. Just you could do so much with him. So let's hope West Virginia gives him a look-see. He's definitely affordable, I think, this time around. And I would be totally happy if he was one of the guys you brought in. He's a low-risk, high-reward type get. And I think West Virginia would be lucky to have him, really. I do. Moving on to another player now. There's a few on here. I've done my research today, man. I've got a lot of different reasons for some of these guys, whether that's in one case, a player's parent told me about this player. He was like, hey, my son played with this kid in high school, and now he's in the portal, and they want to play with each other again, or just different things. So like I get these definitely these recommendations different ways, and it's kind of fun to look at them. We'll go ahead and do Jameer Latimer right now. Obviously, we talked about him the other day, but we can talk about him again because I do think he's going to end up at West Virginia. I would be kind of surprised if he wasn't. He's a versatile nickel corner. He had an incredible year at Jack State under Zach Alley the last time he played in this defense. I think he had 4 interceptions, or he either had 3 or 4 interceptions and had a ton of tackles. And at Wisconsin, it didn't quite work out like that, although it's not like he had a terrible season. He had almost 30 tackles, 15 solo, forced fumble. I think, he would fit better back into this defense, and you already know everything, right? So there's no reason you couldn't bring him in as a great nickel option to replace Fred Perry, or at least partially replace Fred Perry. Maybe he's in a rotation. I don't know. But I mean, this is another guy, according to On3, the valuation's kind of weird for him. It says between 50 and 200,000 is what it says. So I don't know if it's just not known. It's just guesstimating for him on that or whatever. But obviously there's the deep ties to West Virginia. His brother Amari plays at West Virginia. It's already been said publicly they want to play together. And he was, he almost came to West Virginia the first time out of Jack State from Jack State before he went to Wisconsin, but they offered a lot of money. So West Virginia couldn't get him. So, let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. I want to address that comment, Earth Ether. I think small is mostly over, but not a skill position. That's, you know what I mean? Like Richrod's always going to take smaller guys at skill positions, especially in the slot, kickoff return. Darius Raynaud, Jock Sanders, like it's always been that way. So I don't see that ending. But yeah, if you're talking about outside receiver, yeah, that's definitely ending. Well, we got to get bigger at tight end and outside receiver. And you can have a big slot guy too. I'm not saying you have to be, but if you think a guy is as elite as, is Desmond Reed too small? Because I think that's how we should use him if we brought him in, personally. If I was a coordinator, which I'm never going to be, I would just use a guy like Tank Hawkins. I put him in motion all the time. He's always in motion. And I'm trying to match him up with linebackers and whoever, safeties. And I'm either running him straight down the field, or he's juking cats out. He's juking cats out in routes. And then I'm running him out, and I'm doing he would become a third down back for me, like Des Reed. He's coming out of the backfield. He's running angle routes. He's running out routes. He's whatever. But like how they get Des Reed involved for Pitt is how I would use a Tank Hawkins. I really think you could do it with him. Just my opinion, though. It's fun. That's what's fun about it, You can debate about it. Okay, so obviously I would love to have Jameer Latimer as well. He's 5'10", 191. He would be good at nickel, like I said. Now here comes one of the big ones. Kason Henry. 6'6", 300-pound starter for South Carolina last year. One of the best offensive linemen in the portal. But here's the thing. I've been able to confirm, like, West Virginia is, without a doubt, going to spend a lot of money on the offensive line this year. You can book it. So unless they just get priced out and can't get anyone, which I don't know what they're able to spend up to. But I know for a fact that, and it's no big secret. I'm not telling you nothing you guys don't know here, but if you were worried about it or wondering, like, are we going to go get HBCU guys again or something like that? Not unless he's a surefire, like, holy crap, everybody in the country wants him kind of player. Not unless it's like that. Like, West Virginia is going to go out and get Power 4 starting caliber offensive linemen this year. They're not going to – what happened last year ain't going to happen again. Last year was a one-off, I'm telling you guys. Kimo Makaniole was a hope and a prayer. Well, let's just hope he can be what LSU thought he was going to be, right? Tykees Crawford was a 4-star player that hadn't worked at other places, but had a lot of upside. And, you know, he had a couple games where he kind of showed it, but for the most part, he was a miss. So I do think West Virginia is going to go after guys. Now, this guy here, this is one of the creme de la creme ones, right? He just went in 6'6", 300 pounds, 84.4 overall Pro Football Focus grade, 85.7 pass blocking, 79.4 in run blocking. You know, so he's the highest graded player on the entire South Carolina team. So he's an elite pass protector with size and athleticism, man. He played right tackle. You know, you're probably looking at anywhere between 500 to 800K for a guy like this. I don't really know, you know, exactly where he would land, but you're going to have to spend on an O-lineman like this, and he's worth it. So, you know, so I would imagine West Virginia to go after some guys like this. We'll see. We'll see, man. I think he's worth a shot. So, next guy on the list is trying to make sure I'm not going over on time. Yeah, we got to go to break. We'll go to break. We'll come back. I got a couple more guys here. Talking about Rocket Money on this one, y'all. And listen, with Rocket Money, if you didn't know, now you know. Saving money, that's what it's all about, right? Ever feel like your money just disappears each month? It does happen fast. A few subscriptions here and an impulse buy there. And suddenly the numbers in your bank account don't match the numbers in your head. Well, Rocket Money helps you get clarity, track every dollar, and stay in control of your finances, because managing your money shouldn't feel like a second job. Rocket Money does the heavy lifting for you so you can save money and stress less. Seeing all your spending on one dashboard makes it easy to understand. That way you know where your money's going. I like how Rocket Money automatically builds budgets based on past spending. That way it keeps you on track without overthinking it. Having the app find good times to save each month keeps you consistent with your financial goals. Take control of your finances. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions with Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Uh-oh. Well, it won't let me do the bumper. All right, so we're back here on Locked On West Virginia segment 3. Technology, man, I'm telling you. Coos tried to do 2 different shows today, and neither one of them worked, and here I am, and nothing wants to click all of a sudden. So annoying, man, you know? StreamYard's so glitchy sometimes. All right, so getting back to a couple of these guys here. We just got done with Casey Henry, who is one of the best right tackles out there. You know, he has been injured at times, I think, but for the most part, a really good player. Kendall Dolby is a guy that I think that West Virginia is going to take a hard look at. He's obviously got the Zach Alley connection from Oklahoma. 68 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions last year. And, man, is he good. He's another guy that you could bring in and play that nickel spot. He is a versatile defensive back, man. He creates pressure on blitzes. He's a very strong tackler. He has strong coverage skills too. He was a 4-star player, and he transferred from JUCO to Oklahoma, and he did a good job, man. So, you know, the estimated portal cost for him is between $100K and $300K. As an experienced SEC contributor, I would probably lean further towards $300K if you're asking me. West Virginia did offer him out of JUCO in 2022, and they have discussed his recruitment publicly a couple times, well, through the media. So, you know, I do think there is a relationship here. Obviously, there is with Zach Alley. So this is a guy to look at. Man, he's good. He's really good. I think he would be a great add. Anytime you're adding somebody, he might actually be playing right now, or he was earlier. Anytime you can add a guy of his caliber, that's really where where you start to feel like things are turning the corner, right? So hopefully West Virginia can do that. Here's an off the radar one a little bit, and I'll give you the connection. Marcellus Pulliam. He actually started following me on X the other day, but he is 6'2", 240 pounds, Michigan State inside linebacker transfer. He had 4 tackles for him last year. He was at Miami before that. He has 2 years of eligibility left. But, man, he was a top recruit coming out. He has a lot of potential, and you could get him for a deal. I think he would be a great piece to bring in that would be low risk, high reward potential. And the connection is that Sandy Creek, where he played high school ball. So, Sandy Creek, those Georgia guys, obviously Amari Latimer, Jameer could be on the team as well at that point in time, maybe, and would be a monster pickup for West Virginia. Last but not least, and maybe my favorite player on the list, Christian Alliegro, 6'4", 250-pound pass rushing machine from Wisconsin. He had 49 tackles, 32 solo, 4 sacks. Was the 3rd leading tackler on their team last year. He's a really strong defender, man. He is. He's good in both the run and the pass. And I really like him. He's one of those 3-star guys that have been made into something. And, he's probably somebody you can get between 150 and 400K, according to On3. And I really like his upside as well. He's a guy, if you go check his tape out, man, he is a really strong pass rusher. He bull rushes guys extremely well. And he was productive in the Big Ten, which is hard to do. Probably can play some bandit. You can play him at defensive end too if you wanted to a little bit, similar to like, trying to think of who would be a good comparison. Probably Braden Siders would be a good comparison, probably. A little bit of an undersized guy, but fights really hard. And this guy's bigger than Braden Siders was a little bit, but he's obviously a really good pass rusher as well. And, so I would expect West Virginia to take a little bit of a look at him too. So that's it, guys. That's the list. I appreciate you all for being here. I know there's another football game going on. Just wanted to get on and talk some ball for a little bit. Obviously, there's a ton of other guys out there that you can look at. We all know about Carlton Joseph and all them other guys too, which we will get to at another time. But until then, y'all, I appreciate you for being here as always, and I'll let you get back to the game. But before I can't let you forget to cue those country roads until we do. Good night, guys.